Yo, man, I just got back from fighting some serious crime, and what's this? More trouble on the streets, this time over at BioWare HQ, where Mark Dara, as well as Casey Hudson, have both left at the same time, and even Super Matty cannot do a thing about it. They're both gone, and this is significant because these are the minds behind BioWare classics like Star Wars, Knights of the Old Republic, the best RPG ever made, Mass Effect, Dragon Age. That era is gone, and in is coming the winds of change. New minds are entering BioWare. Is this a good thing? Is this a bad thing? But more importantly, what's happening at BioWare? Are they in trouble? Has something happened internally to cause both of these people, who are very significant and important to the company, to leave at the same time? As well as, what does this mean for the future of BioWare? As a huge BioWare fan, they really defined what I love about RPGs. We really need to talk about this and decide whether or not they're in trouble. Now, before we really get things started here on what caused this conversation, we need to look back a little bit, because now we know two major figures in BioWare, Casey Hudson and Mark Dara, have left. And when you look at that very odd Dragon Age 4 trailer, which I caught some flack for it when I made my video on it. Matt, you're being negative. You're hating too much. What about now? What about now? I said to people, that was a weird trailer. There was no reason to reveal it. And Mark Dara is in that trailer. Casey Hudson introduced the whole thing in that trailer. And now they're both gone? Really weird stuff. What makes it all the more strange is that Casey Hudson, who just became GM in 2017, is already leaving. So in his tenure, we saw him come in after Mass Effect Andromeda had released, where the studio needed a little more stability. He came in, they crapped out Anthem, and we all know how that went, but I wouldn't put that all on Casey. Really, the only actual thing we've seen come out of BioWare is the pre-production Dragon Age 4 trailer, as well as Mass Effect Legendary Edition being confirmed. And I'm not going to complain about that. Y'all know me. I made like 80 million videos on Mass Effect Legendary Edition. I'm pumped for that game. But in the terms of what to expect from the future, it's more of the same. Another Mass Effect and another Dragon Age are coming. Now, Casey's post, and we'll get into it in a little bit, does mention some other unannounced things, but during his tenure, it's hard to get a sample size of really anything he did. Did he bring more stability? Did it get worse in there? Because if you don't recall, there were major complaints that Kotaku covered very closely from Jason Schreier that BioWare's work culture was terrible. And I'm sorry, I'm not going to sit here and go, oh, they just both decided to retire at the same time. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's not a big deal at all. Come on. This is big, man. This is big. You have the major head behind Dragon Age and the other major head behind Mass Effect, and they both just left. When Casey Hudson had actually joined back with BioWare back in 2017 to become GM, here's what he had to say. When I left BioWare 3 years ago, it was the most difficult decision of my career. I needed some time off, needed a bit of change, and wanted to get involved in the new wave of disruptive technologies that were emerging. The last few years have been transformative for me, from having time to reflect on what I want to do now, to working with new technologies at platform scale, and now I'm thrilled to have the opportunity to return to lead BioWare, a studio that I think of as home. So, yes, Casey Hudson's been in and out of BioWare, and while they're both calling them retirement posts, I want you to read the fine print here as we start to go through their retirement posts, and you tell me if it sounds like they're just leaving and waiting a little bit for a new opportunity, or maybe making a new studio, or if they're actually truly done in the games industry. You let me know. I'm not trying to cast doubt on them, but I truly believe just something's up with BioWare. I really can't help but worry, because the head of your studio, as well as one of the major figures on Dragon Age, which is the project you announced is going to be your next one, gone. So this is from Casey Hudson's retirement post. This year, we've been inspired by the continued community support for our ongoing work on Star Wars: The Old Republic. Give this MMO a try, by the way. I made a review on it for this year. And Anthem. A few months ago, we provided a deeper look at the work that's going into the next huge Dragon Age game. And on N7 Day, we announced Mass Effect: The Legendary Edition and gave a hint at what's coming next in the Mass Effect universe. It's an exciting time, both in the terms of projects you've heard about and some things not yet announced. So I would say the next two projects, at least, coming from BioWare, keep those in mind for Casey Hudson's tenure, because he was there when they were kind of being given birth to, right? And now, I know some people may call me crazy, but fingers crossed, with all the nostalgia in my heart, that KOTOR in some way, shape, or form is coming back. Remember that TV show, right? That TV show that leaked, I think it was last year, okay? And we've seen how popular Star Wars TV has become with The Mandalorian, And that show has been awesome. Clone Wars, people loved season 7. I'm on season 4, so don't spoil anything for me. But what if there was a Star Wars Old Republic show alongside the game? That would be insane. That would be actually insane. It would drive so much traffic to this part of the Star Wars world. Star Wars has to know that. BioWare has to know that. I have no doubt that with EA owning Star Wars, and BioWare has yet to do anything with it outside of the Old Republic MMO, something has to be brewing there. I refuse to believe it hasn't. However, more importantly, when it comes to Casey's retirement, arriving at this point has been an opportunity for me to reflect on my own future, and 2020 has been a year that's forced us all to reimagine how we think about work and life. For me, it's been the realization that I still have tremendous energy to create, but also that I need to try something different. I'm not exactly sure what that is yet, but I know that I want to start by rediscovering my creative passion through more personal work. Okay, so tremendous energy to create, but he wants to work on more personal stuff. I will translate that for you. This place sucks. I need to get out of here. And I want to just take some time to breathe, work for myself. You know, he's got plenty of money, GM of BioWare. That's probably a big paying job. He's fine financially, I'm sure. And just relax for a little bit. Relax for the holiday season and fire things back up in 2021. Now, remember how he worded that, okay? The tremendous energy to create, more to come seemingly, like he's not quite finished yet. Now, let's read a little bit from Mark Dara, all right? Dragon Age will be in good hands. Christian Daly will be moving into the executive producer role. Christian Daly is a strong leader and will provide great insight into the rest of the Dragon Age leadership who remain. This is a team that includes people with decades of experience at BioWare. I am confident that, together, this is the team that can make Dragon Age the best one yet. Matthew Goldman remains the creative director. He has been on Dragon Age since the early days of Dragon Age Origins. Heck yeah. Like me, he has been involved in the franchise as it has changed over the years. He has a deep understanding of what it has been and what it has the potential to be. Okay, before we get to Mark's closing statement, I want to focus on that right there. Winds have changed through BioWare. Is this actually a good thing at the end of the day? Because these are some of the minds that led them through what I believe was a golden era. You know, the early 2000s, from like 2003 onwards until I'd say about 2012. Was when BioWare was really at their strongest. And I believe what was core to a lot of that was working with Xbox. When they teamed up with EA, that's where we started to see it really go downhill. Even if a lot of people like to scapegoat EA for Anthem, but BioWare took like 7 years to work on that game. That was all the mishandling of BioWare. I don't really think that had much to do with EA. They were plenty patient when it came to that game, but still, that partnership there never really brought, I thought, anything fruitful to the table. I thought Dragon Age changed for the worse. I thought Mass Effect changed for the worse. Anthem was the furthest departure from anything great from BioWare. And I'm not even just saying that because it stinks. I thought it felt kind of good to play. It just wasn't what I wanted from BioWare. And the same, that may sound familiar, could be said for when Bethesda went out and did Fallout 76. People were like, what is this? What are you guys doing? Like, this is, and it's so clear people don't want that. So on one hand, it's good that BioWare has a roadmap saying Dragon Age, Mass Effect. There's no BS multiplayer there. That's good news. But on the other hand, is it as exciting without some of these same minds in there? Because as new minds have rolled through, BioWare has really transitioned into a completely different company. And that's something I really want to talk about in an individual video, is how BioWare has really changed from the early 2000s to here in 2020. Anyway, let's wrap this up by reading the closing statement from Mark Dara. He says, I don't know what's next for me, but I'm excited to find out. Just as I'm excited to find out what Dragon Age now becomes. Thank you, Mark Dara. So, once again, I don't know how else to word this. I don't mean to assume extremely hard, but come on. I feel like the writing's on the wall. I don't know what's next for me, but I'm excited to find out. Or Casey Hudson saying that I have tremendous energy to create. The writing, read between the lines. They're not done. They're not permanently retiring from games. They're retiring from BioWare. And that's a huge difference there, because BioWare, if we're to believe what was written from Jason Schreier many years ago, was in really big trouble culture-wise. I'm sure it's gotten a little bit better, but look, I just feel like too many people have left over the years, and now these are two more bigger, more significant personalities there saying, see you later. So is BioWare in trouble? I mean, yeah, I don't think having your studio head only be there for 3 years and then saying enough's enough is good at all. And now to play devil's advocate with myself, perhaps Casey Hudson went, okay, I've came here, I've brought stability, I planned the future. We know that we have Dragon Age. We know that we have Mass Effect. And he could have just said, enough, I'm going to move on to another team or something along those lines. What would be really exciting, and a lot of people speculated this, is if Mark and Casey got together and sort of began their own brand new studio that kind of was independent of EA, and to see what they could really do there. I think that's what both these people need, and especially Casey Hudson, who continuously says, whether it was back in 2017 where he said, I needed something new, and now here in 2020, I need something new, is to invest in themselves. I mean, these are clearly very talented people, and we can see just by the work that they've helped create that maybe they don't work the best with huge corporate overheads. Try their own thing. Nowadays, it's certainly feasible, and they absolutely have the big enough names to bring a ton of attention that way. I'd love to see people try to do what BioWare did without the big corporate overhead. We've seen Spiders try to do it with Greedfall. We've seen Vampire from Don't Nod really try to bring that kind of energy there. And those have been some of the best RPGs, in my opinion, of this past generation. Are they perfect on every level? No. Do they have their flaws? Absolutely. But still, I want to see that type of stuff. And I feel like a couple of people leaving BioWare and going to do their own thing would be amazing for this industry to challenge what RPGs really were from BioWare. But we'll see if any of that comes to fruition at all. That's just my hopes and dreams out here on a platter for BioWare to throw on the floor and step on. But anyway, is BioWare in trouble? Well, I'll leave it up to you to decide, but for me, I think it's pretty clear the writing's on the wall that things aren't good there, and that people leaving at the same exact time and kind of just being like, oh, we're retiring, but at the bottom of the post going like, can't wait to see what's next. All right, I've rambled on enough. Let me know what you're thinking. Fire away in the comments down below. Other than that, follow me on Twitter, follow me on Instagram. Those links are in the description down below. Big thank you to all the patrons, all the members who continue to support the content I create here. Stay sexy, stay active. I love you all. Peace.